David Beckham could live in any glass penthouse overlooking any skyline on the planet. Instead, his true sanctuary is a stone farmhouse in the English countryside, a place of old walls, vegetable beds, chickens, and beehives. In this film, we step inside his Cotswolds estate to see how one of the most famous athletes in history built a life of quiet harvest, heritage, and family, far away from stadium lights and camera flashes. David Robert Joseph Beckham was born in 1975 in East London, in a very different world from the one he inhabits today. As a boy, his universe was made of concrete pitches, crowded buses, and distant dreams of professional football. He has often spoken about telling teachers, again and again, that he only wanted to be a footballer, and being told to be more realistic. Over the following decades, he would move from local youth teams to Manchester United, from England captaincy to Real Madrid, from Los Angeles to Paris, and finally to co-owning a club in Miami. By the time he retired in 2013, he was not just a former player, but a global brand and a multi-million-dollar businessman. His right foot, his image, and his discipline had been transformed into an empire that spanned continents. That journey brought him wealth on a scale that would have been impossible to imagine from a small house in East London. Sponsorships, club salaries, image rights, and later investments turned him into a figure with an estimated net worth in the hundreds of millions of dollars. He and Victoria built a property portfolio stretching from London to Miami, with homes that appeared in magazines, documentaries, and advertising campaigns. Yet what makes his story interesting today is not another big contract or another high-rise apartment. It is the decision to put a significant part of that fortune into land, stone, and soil in the English countryside. Around 2016, David and Victoria Beckham purchased a historic countryside property in the Cotswolds, roughly 100 miles northwest of London. The estate is set in one of Britain's most picturesque regions, an area defined by rolling green hills, dry stone walls, and small villages built from honey-colored stone. This is the Cotswolds, a landscape protected for its natural beauty and long farming history, and a favored retreat for wealthy Londoners and international celebrities looking for privacy behind hedges instead of cameras. The property itself began life as a working farm, with agricultural buildings dating back to the 1800s. For generations, this land was about livestock and labor rather than leisure and celebrities. Livestock operations on the site ended in the early 2000s, and the old farmyard and barns were gradually transformed into a private estate. When the Beckhams acquired it, the price was reported at around $8 million, a reflection not only of square footage but of heritage, location, and the possibilities of the land. Today, media reports still place the value in the multi-million-dollar range, above what they originally paid, but exact figures vary between outlets. From the lane outside, the estate does not scream celebrity mansion. A traditional wooden gate and gravel drive lead up to buildings that still carry the proportions of an old farm. Stone walls, pitched roofs, and clusters of structures around a central courtyard. The palette is muted and natural, cream-colored stone, weathered wood, slate, and tile, designed to blend into the surrounding fields rather than dominate them. It is the kind of place you could imagine standing there for centuries, even if the interior tells a far more modern story. Step inside and the scale becomes more apparent. The main house and converted barns together offer over 14,000 square feet of living space. Rooms open up under exposed beams with large fireplaces anchoring the main living areas. Instead of the sharp, minimalist lines of a city penthouse, there's a deliberate mix of old and new. Restored timbers and stone floors sit alongside contemporary furniture, art, and lighting. It feels like a country house that has been carefully edited rather than completely reinvented. The heart of the home is the kitchen and adjoining family spaces. Open, bright, and built for gathering. This is where modern appliances sit next to natural materials, and where produce from the garden can, quite literally, be carried a few steps from the soil to the stove. For a couple whose public image was shaped by fashion shows, red carpets, and high-end restaurants, the sight of a big farmhouse kitchen table covered in homegrown vegetables offers a very different picture of their private life. One small, telling anecdote comes from Victoria herself. On social media, she once shared how her husband's content had started to change. For years, his posts were full of motorbikes, stadiums, and travel. Now, she joked, It was all about kale, honey, and flowers for the house. In that one line, half teasing and half proud, you can feel how deeply this countryside life has taken root for them. Beyond the walls of the house, the land tells an even more revealing story. Directly around the buildings, about 2 acres of landscaped grounds stretch out into the countryside. Over the years, the Beckhams have invested heavily in reshaping this landscape, adding features that balance leisure, privacy, and production. One of the most striking is a man-made lake, complete with a small jetty and a duck house, created as a focal point for the property. The lake not only adds beauty and a sense of calm, it also changes how the land feels. More like a self-contained world than just a house in a field. Scattered around the grounds are spaces that speak clearly of a shift from football stadiums to rural routines. There is a football pitch with artificial turf, a reminder of the career that made all of this possible. There is a swimming pool and leisure area, a gym, and a series of terraces and outdoor cooking spaces designed for family and friends. But alongside them are features you would expect to find on a serious smallholding: a greenhouse, vegetable beds, fruit trees, a chicken coop, and rows of beehives. The vegetable garden has become one of the most visible parts of Beckham's rural life, largely because he has chosen to share it. In recent years, he has posted glimpses of kale thriving in neat rows, beds of potatoes, cabbages, spring onions, and what appear to be various fruit trees protected with nets. There is a greenhouse designed to extend the growing season and to shelter more delicate plants from the Cotswolds' cool, damp climate. The overall picture is not of a decorative lawn with a token herb pot, but of a kitchen garden that supplies the household with some seasonal produce. In one video, Beckham walks slowly past his raised beds, pointing out the neat lines of vegetables. He sounds almost like a proud small-scale farmer rather than a retired international football star, talking about how well the kale is doing, how the fruit needs protecting from birds, how there are a lot of potatoes waiting to be turned into crisps. It is casual, almost offhand, but it offers a rare, unscripted window into what actually excites him on a weekend morning in the country. The climate in this part of England is mild and often wet, with cool summers and relatively gentle winters. That combination favors lush growth, green pastures, and the classic English cottage garden style. It is ideal for hardy herbs like rosemary, thyme, and sage, for brassicas such as kale and cabbage, and for a range of apples, plums, and other temperate fruits. In short, it is a good place to be a gardener, if you're willing to put in the work, or at least to oversee it closely. Beckham has made a point of not only showing the results, but also hinting at his involvement in the process. He has joked about swapping motorbike trips for videos of kale and honey, about making crisps from his own potatoes, about pressing juice from apples grown on his trees. In one memorable post, he showed apple trees covered in protective nets to stop birds stealing the fruit. He proudly explained how this would finally let them harvest enough apples to make fresh juice. Shortly afterward, Victoria reshared the image, teasing him that it had taken him 2 years to act on her idea for the nets. The banter is light, but it reveals something deeper. They both care enough about those trees and that juice to argue, playfully, over who gets the credit. While the day-to-day work of maintaining such grounds almost certainly involves a professional team, the narrative he presents is one of personal engagement. A man who knows what is growing, how it's doing, and how it ends up on the family table. For someone whose life was once governed by hotel schedules and team buses, the ability to walk out the back door and check on a row of spring onions or a line of plum trees is a profound change of pace. One of the most distinctive elements of the estate is the beekeeping operation. Rows of wooden hives sit on the property, and Beckham has spoken publicly and shared images of himself tending them and harvesting honey. Beekeeping is not a casual decoration. It demands regular inspections, calm handling, and an understanding of the rhythms of a colony through the seasons. For a former athlete whose career depended on precision and timing, there is a certain symmetry in learning to work with insects that live by their own strict calendar. During the lockdowns and quieter periods in recent years, he documented his journey into beekeeping, first setting up the hives, then suiting up in protective gear, then, months later, proudly holding up jars of honey produced on his own land. The labels were simple and personal, the opposite of a global fragrance campaign or fashion launch. It was honey as proof of patience. These bees do more than produce jars of honey with a personal label. They pollinate the flowers, fruit trees, and vegetables that surround the house, tying the different parts of the estate into a single ecological system. In general, keeping bees encourages landowners to think more carefully about planting and how it supports pollinators, even if the exact management choices on this estate are not publicly detailed. In the Beckham's case, that has meant wildflower meadows, tree planting, and a mix of ornamental and productive plants that offer nectar and pollen across the seasons. Alongside the bees, chickens provide a more familiar kind of harvest. A wooden chicken coop on the grounds houses a flock that naturally can supply fresh eggs. Simple as it sounds, collecting eggs in the morning and feeding birds are routines that structure a day very differently than media appearances or board meetings. Combined with the vegetables and fruit from the garden, they allow the family to eat at least partially from their own land, a small but symbolically powerful form of self-sufficiency. One can picture a weekend morning when Beckham pulls on boots, steps out into the cool air and walks a short loop. Past the hives to see if the bees are flying, past the coop to check on the hens, through the vegetable patch to see what looks ready for dinner. It is the kind of loop millions of smallholders and gardeners make, unnoticed every day. The difference here is that this particular gardener once spent his weekends in front of 70,000 people instead of 7 chickens. All of this unfolds against a backdrop of deliberate rewilding and planting. Reports describe the Beckhams planting hundreds of trees, creating wildflower meadows and planting a small forest and more extensive habitats on the property. These interventions work on a long time scale. Trees mature over decades, meadows take years to fully establish, and the benefits to birds, insects, and soil accumulate slowly. For someone whose first career was measured in 90-minute matches and transfer windows, investing in projects that may not fully show their impact for a generation marks a notable shift in perspective. There is an amusing, almost self-aware quality in how Beckham has talked about these changes. In one interview linked to a magazine feature on his country life, he described enjoying tasks like cutting logs, tending the land, and, in his words, becoming a bit of a country gent. Friends and fans reacted with a mixture of surprise and affection. For those who remember the young man in designer suits and sharp haircuts in Manchester and Madrid, the image of him in a flat cap, walking through long grass with dogs at his heels, feels like a new chapter that no one predicted but many seem to appreciate. Within this setting, family life takes on a very specific form. Victoria Beckham, known worldwide for music, fashion, and luxury branding, is often associated in the public imagination with runways and urban glamour. Yet at the Cotswolds estate, she appears in a different role. In the garden, in the kitchen, or simply walking the grounds with her husband and children. The visual of her picking herbs or tomatoes from raised beds or commenting on apple trees and netting underlines the couple's message that this place is about something more than image. For the children, the estate functions as a kind of parallel childhood reality. Alongside a life of travel in cities, they have access to open lawns, a football pitch, a lake, orchards, and animals. Dogs roam the property alongside them. There are stories and images of apple juice being pressed from their own fruit, of time spent at the chicken coop, of their father checking on the bees or the kale with children or dogs somewhere in the frame. These are ordinary rural experiences, made extraordinary only by the scale of the estate and the fame of the family. Importantly, this countryside property is not their only base. The Beckhams still maintain a major home in London and a highly publicized waterfront mansion in Miami, reportedly worth tens of millions of dollars and equipped with everything one might expect of a celebrity residence in South Florida. Floor-to-ceiling glass, expansive terraces, an infinity pool, and direct access to the water. There is also a yacht and a serious car collection, elements that belong to a very different lifestyle from muddy boots and chicken feed. The contrast between these worlds is stark. In Miami, the environment is about views, modern architecture, and immediate access to business and entertainment. It is closely tied to Beckham's role with Inter Miami, Major League Soccer, and the broader network of high-end events that surround professional sport and celebrity in the United States. It is a place for networking, deals, and visibility. From the dock, his yacht can slip out into the bay. From the terraces, guests can look back at the skyline and the lights of a global city. In the Cotswolds, by contrast, visibility decreases as the hedges rise. The most important views are of fields, trees, and the surface of the lake at dawn. The work is slower, the routines more repetitive. Checking plants, walking the dogs, making small adjustments to a garden bed or a beehive. Here, the family can move more freely, protected by distance and by a culture that respects gates and long driveways as meaningful boundaries. From a financial perspective, the decision to put millions of dollars into a rural estate like this is not just about having a picturesque weekend house. Properties of this type are scarce. Historic buildings in a protected landscape within reachable distance of a global city. That scarcity often drives long-term value, especially when combined with tasteful renovations and thoughtful landscape design. In that sense, the Cotswolds estate can be viewed as part of a diversified portfolio, a real asset holding that preserves capital while also generating reputational advantages. Those reputational advantages matter. In an era where public figures are scrutinized not only for what they earned, but for how they live and what they appear to value, a carefully documented life of gardening, beekeeping, and family time sends a powerful message. It suggests groundedness, environmental awareness, and a desire to offer children something other than permanent spectacle. It aligns neatly with broader trends among wealthy individuals who increasingly invest in vineyards, organic farms, rewilding projects, and off-grid retreats as symbols of a certain kind of enlightened prosperity. At the same time, it would be naive to pretend that this is a simple, rustic life. The scale, design, and amenities of the property make it very different from the average small farm. There is professional landscaping, specialized construction, and likely a dedicated staff maintaining the grounds, the water features, and the buildings. What the estate represents is not a rejection of luxury, but a redefinition of it, moving from pure consumption toward a blend of comfort, privacy, nature, and production. In that consistency lies the deeper significance of this place. The Cotswolds estate is where threads from different parts of David Beckham's life meet: the discipline and routine of an athlete, the marketing instinct of a global brand, the capital of a successful businessman, and the simple human desire for quiet, land, and family. It is not a traditional working farm, and it is not a minimalist luxury villa. It is something in between, a heritage property turned into a modern sanctuary of harvest and retreat. If you've enjoyed this exploration of David Beckham's farmhouse, subscribe to our channel for more videos about extraordinary properties and heritage living.